I have been living a zero waste lifestyle for 10 years now, and I've been looking back through some of my old content, and there's some things that I used to do in the name of zero waste and saving the planet that I absolutely 100% would not recommend, and I would love to talk about it. Welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. I'm Catherine Kellogg, and today we're going to be diving into some absolutely unhinged things I used to do. Buckle up and let me know in the comments if there are any zero waste things or sustainable things you used to do that you look back on and think, wow, I wish I didn't do that. Let me know in the comments so I don't feel so alone, and please give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to try and structure this video so it goes from the least unhinged to the most unhinged. So you want to make sure you stick around to see the final one because it's so bad. I had to take the video off of YouTube, and it was one of my best performing YouTube posts. It had over 100,000 views. It was one of my best performing posts, but the advice I think was so bad that I had to take it down. So you're gonna wanna stick around and see. Up first, we have DIY toothpaste. Now, I used to make a homemade tooth powder, and I still make a homemade whitening tooth powder that I use occasionally, and I'm a big fan of it. But I will say when I switched from toothpaste with fluoride to tooth powder, when I went to the dentist, I had 7 cavities. And maybe that's just because, I was getting older, but I had never had a cavity up until that point. I don't wanna risk it. So I use a toothpaste with fluoride now, and I have never had a cavity since. So that's what I've been doing, and I don't want to go back because I really don't want to get cavities. It is not fun to get a cavity filled. I don't know if you ever had one, but if you have, it's not fun. It's not fun. So I'm just going to stick to my fluoride toothpaste, and I use my whitening tooth powder about once a month. And that's the way I roll from here on out. So yeah, number 2 on my list has to be homemade laundry detergent. It is physically impossible to make a detergent at home. You can't do it. You cannot make a detergent. You can only make soap. You can make laundry soap. And if you live in a place that has hard water, you are screwed, okay? You should not be making homemade laundry soap because it is just going to cling into the fabric, which is going to repel moisture. It is going to attract dirt, making you more dirty, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do when you do laundry. Don't do it. Do not do it. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I ruined so many clothes and sheets because they became absolutely filled with the oil from soap, where it repelled water and adhered to so much dirt, they were unusable. I had to throw them away. And also, if you're using homemade laundry soap, you can void the warranty on your washing machine. And I'm sorry, but saving this much plastic is not worth throwing out your bedding, throwing out your clothes, and ruining an entire washing machine. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. You will not be saving money in the long run. You cannot make a laundry soap. If you live in a place, okay, I wrote a whole blog post on this. There are 3 ways that you can clean: heat, agitation, soap, or detergent, right? Those are like the 3 main ways that you clean. Modern HE washers have removed the agitation. Washing in cold is better for the environment. If you have soap in your washing machine, and that is the only way you're cleaning, you really need to be using a detergent because the soap is just not gonna wash free from your clothing. So if you have really hot water, you're using amazing agitation, you live in a place with soft water, you probably can get away with using homemade laundry soap. But at that point, you're using so much energy, and using hot water is gonna negate any cost savings that you have. So honestly, just buy the sustainable detergent. Just buy the sustainable detergent. Buy it. The 2 detergents I use most often in my house are True Earth and the Drops Laundry Pods. I will also link to a blog post down below where you can check out some other sustainable options. But I'm begging you, please don't ruin all your stuff. Use a homemade. Don't use a homemade laundry detergent. I'm so worked up right now. Don't use a homemade laundry soap, okay? Take it from me. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you have done it and it's worked for you, great. I'm really happy for you. But I'm warning anyone else, don't do it. And if you have done it, I would challenge you to take your stuff, put it in the bathtub, do a strip bath, see what comes out, because it's going to be nasty. It is going to be nasty. Trust me. Okay. Number 3 on the list. Number 3 on the list has to be homemade mascara. Do you remember this? Do you all remember this? I need to know who's been here. Who has been in the zero waste movement so long they remember the obsession with homemade mascara? Bea Johnson from Zero Waste Home used to use burnt almonds. The Rogue Ginger from Australia used activated charcoal and soap. I feel like there were a few other recipes that have like floated around. Tried the burnt almonds, didn't really work out very well for me. Then I tried the activated charcoal and soap, which honestly worked really well, but oh my goodness, my eyeballs felt like they emerged from the eternal pits of hell. I'm not trying to stir up any drama. Not my goal, not my goal. Not what I want at all, but oh my God, don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it. My eyes burned so bad. I mean, literally it was like squirting soap into your eyes and then just walking around. And I remember Googling, will this make me go blind? And the consensus was no, but it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. So now I buy mascara in a tube, and then when it's done, I throw it away and I get a new mascara. And I probably use a tube of mascara 1 a year. So I'm okay with that. Genuinely, I'm okay with that. Oh, okay. One of the reasons that I'm so skeptical of wellness influencers right now, and a lot of the rhetoric that I'm seeing online, is because I grew up with the first wave of wellness influencers. You know, that was kind of the time that I was coming up into this space, and there was a lot of crossover in the Venn diagram of sustainability and wellness. There's this pocket, and I fit really neatly in that little pocket. It was like really cozy. And there were so many things. I don't know if y'all remember these. All the smoothie art was all the rage. You had the fat bombs, the ashwagandha, and the adaptogens. All that was like really big at the time. CBD was just coming up. Just like a lot of stuff. But one of the things was ditching skincare and instead doing this thing called I believe it was the oil cleansing method. And now I know that there is, oil cleansing or double cleansing, which is something that's still really prevalent. But this was recommending basically rubbing olive oil on your face. So the idea behind this is that the only thing that cancels out an oil is another oils. Therefore, we should put oil on our face to help reduce our acne. People were using coconut oil, people were using olive oil, and these oils are so, I never can say this word right. These oils are so comedogenic. Hold on, one more time. Comedogenic. Yep, my face was so broken out. And I remember oh my God. Oh, this is bringing back deep memories. Okay, I did this before my wedding. I would put a towel in a bowl full of water, and then I would microwave it so it was super hot. And then I would rub olive oil on my face, and then I would leave it on there for a minute. And then I would take the hot towel and I would steam it, and I would use that to wipe the olive oil off. And my face broke out. Crazy. Who would have thought? And then to follow up, I would make my own salt water, and I would use water and salt. Now I stored this in the fridge because I know that, using water in your homemade beauty products is not good in terms of bacteria growth. So I did store this in the fridge, and I would remake it every week. So at least I was being safe on the bacteria front. But then I would rub that in a roller bottle all over my face because seawater is good for your face and your skin. So therefore, after rubbing oil all over my face, then I would rub salt on it. But thank God I don't do that anymore. Thank God. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. Unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. In the same vein. Because it gets worse. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse. I hate to tell you this. Homemade sunscreen. Because if you thought what could possibly go wrong with olive oil and salt all over your face, maybe using homemade shea butter mixed with zinc as a homemade sunscreen. 10 out of 10. Do not recommend. It is a very, very difficult thing to formulate. And if you actually want to protect yourself from the sun and getting burned, using something that's properly formulated would be the right move. I mean, thankfully, don't think I have any lasting damage from it. I mostly don't even go out into the sun. One of the great things about being a theater kid is you never see the light of day. I'm basically a vampire. I only come out at night, and when I am out, I'm locked inside of a theater without any windows. So, you know, I was mostly okay. It wasn't like I was hitting up the beach for an extended period of time wearing this fake sunscreen. And when I do go to the beach, I always try and stay covered and wear a hat because I know that is the secret to the fountain of youth, is to avoid the sun. So that is what I try to do. But yeah, don't recommend making your own sunscreen. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not going to work. It's probably going to clog your pores. And at that point, what even is the point? What is the point? What is the point? There is no point. You got to buy all these ingredients. You got to mix them all up. And, you know, I mean, you don't have a chemistry lab in your kitchen. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know your life, but I don't. So not worth it. There's two other things that I personally didn't do, but I know other people who did, just deep in the zero waste movement. And I am so curious if anyone did these and what your feelings on it personally is. Also, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I do videos on sustainability as well as commentary on consumer culture. So if you're enjoying this, please subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when new videos are coming out. So the other two things are DIY face masks. Now, I've done quite a few DIY face masks that I've never had an issue with, but I had a friend who used one with tomatoes, and I think she gave herself chemical burns, which, sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at her pain. But it is like objectively like a little funny. Just because it's like a tomato, which is red, and then, you know, it's really funny when you have to explain the joke. But I had another friend who did one with turmeric, and she stained her face yellow. Her face was so yellow. So if you're going to make a homemade face mask, I think it's just really important to just be a little cognizant of what you're using, to ensure that you don't wind up with chemical burns and you don't dye your skin. I'm sorry, it's so mean. The next one is DIY toilet paper. That's just something I could never get behind. I could never get behind reusable toilet paper. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And I had a friend who took all of her short sleeve shirts and she cut all of these sleeves off of them and then used all of the sleeves for toilet paper. We love an upcycle. We love an upcycle queen. We love upcycling, but no, that's just a no for me. That's just a no. That was a never. I wrecked my whole face, but I draw the line. I draw the line at reusable toilet paper. And I know some people love it. Also, it's called family cloth, and I cannot think of a more disgusting name than family cloth. If you use reusable toilet paper and you love it and you find this offensive, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love my bidet attachment. Oh my Lord. This is just a tiny tangent. I grew up in the South and I majored in musical theater, did a lot of acting, and I have my accent trained out of me. I overcorrect so much that I often go Midwest because I'm correcting for my Southern accent so hard. Sometimes when the Midwest slips out, that's why, because I'm overcorrecting for my accent. And my Southern accent really only comes out when I'm really, really tired, really drunk, or really angry. Which brings us to the last, most unhinged swap, which is so bad that I had to take the video down. I made homemade soap. On the surface level, making homemade soap, really truly not that bad or unhinged. The unhinged thing is that you're dealing with lye, and lye can cause chemical burns.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine from Going Zero Waste, and today I'm going to show you how to make my 4-in-1 soap bar. Now you have to be careful with lye because lye can cause rashes if you're touching it or handling it. So you just want to be really careful that you're not rubbing it on your skin, or that if any falls, that you clean it up. Once again, you don't want to touch this. You don't want to touch the lye. If you feel more comfortable with gloves or glasses, more protective wear, you certainly can. Okay, so I'm just going to slowly mix this in.
Yep. So I took the video down because that is the responsible thing to do. And I am sorry if anyone did that without using personal protection equipment, because the justification for that was not good. Really, really, really not good. Sorry about that. I'll never make that recommendation again. And I'm curious if there's anything I'm doing now that 10 years from now I'm gonna be like, oh no. I don't think so. Like, I've really, really mellowed out. I have really mellowed out, and I'm much more pragmatic. And I think I became a lot more pragmatic after the first year. The first year had like a lot of zealousness. Is that a word? Zealousness? It's really fun to say. I had a lot of zeal. That's it. I had a lot of zeal and excitement, and I was so committed, which is admirable in its own way. I made some mistakes. And yeah, those are just some things that I won't be repeating again. This was a fun walk down memory lane. Like I said, please let me know in the comments, is there anything you really, really regret doing? And I'll see you in the next video.